What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Black Belt Business Podcast. I'm your host, Eliot Marshall, and it is my goal with each episode of this podcast to share the stories, strategies, tactics, tools, and resources that will help you establish or grow your martial arts school. The Black Belt Business Podcast is brought to you by Easton.Online. You can find all of our digital courses, martial arts curriculums, and resources designed to help you enhance your business at Easton.Online. So without further ado, let's jump into the episode. What up, guys? Back with another Easton.Online podcast. We are Ian-less today. How are you, Mike?
I am well. I kicked Ian out. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, Ian's got some work to do. His boss laid the hammer down, said, get your shit done. Sorry, Ian. We were just talking how I love rainy spring days. It's raining here in Colorado today, and you were saying how you don't like two in a row.
Yeah, I love a rainy spring day, but it makes me want to like sit in my office and work or like do something inside.
Okay.
And yesterday I drove all over the state, I felt like. And then today I have a busy day and I wanted something to be outside.
Okay.
It will be. It's just going to be
wet.
Yeah.
So you're going to go for a run?
Yeah.
Nice. What were you driving all over the state for yesterday?
I just had to go to all the schools, just a bunch of the schools.
Oh, for what?
I had to just to deliver something,
okay.
But I find that I'm much better at getting to the schools now if I have a purpose. Like, it's hard for my purpose to be go, talk to people and hang out.
Okay.
I can't. My mind has a hard time with that.
Okay.
So I was like, I'll go pick up this box from Denver and I'll deliver it to Littleton, but I'll also stop in Boulder beforehand to pick something else up. So if I have like just items to get, I'll go and then hang out and talk and do all my other stuff.
Oh, but I need to go see Boulder, by the way.
It makes it easier for me.
Is it done? Is Boulder done?
No. A lot of the flooring's done, but there's more to do.
Okay. The bathroom's probably right. Are we doing the bathrooms?
We're doing one at a time. One shower at a time, so 4 showers.
Okay.
So
little Boulder renovation, everyone. Look, I think this is a big thing. This isn't the topic of the podcast. But you got to keep, I made a video about this, about, keeping the school nice. Like, you have to keep the school nice. People have to see you putting money back into the school. One of the things it does, I feel like, is they're like, let's say Amal and I are the owners of Boulder. People be like, they put money back in. They're not just taking all of the money. So when you do things, it makes it a little easier for that to feel a certain way. Mm-hmm. What do you think, Mike, on that?
No, I think it's really important. We've done a facelift to Boulder twice now since we opened in 2012.
Yeah.
This is our second facelift, as I would like
Boulder's
to call
14.
it. 2014, yeah, so Denver's 11 years. Yeah. So yeah, every 5 or 6 years. If stuff breaks along the way, you have to fix it. But every 5 or 6 years, if you can, I think it's nice to improve. Like, new mats always make a huge difference. But like a fresh coat of paint. We have to redo the showers in Boulder, which is going to be expensive, but it has to be done. The flooring makes a big difference. But there's the balance, too, because there's so many pieces you have to pay attention to. Like, there's obviously the aesthetics of the school. And I don't want to get down this rabbit hole, but you got to pay attention to the aesthetics of the school, the rising cost of inflation, paying your staff, owner distribution, so you still have money.
But it helps to do it. It helps to renovate every 5 years.
Yeah, it makes a big difference.
All right, let's get into it. This week, we're talking about culture, okay? We're talking about culture, man.
What are we talking about?
And I don't know. I like this line that you put. We always, we're trying to be more focused with our podcast, and I really love this line that you put. What you do will echo through eternity.
I watched The Gladiator before every single football game in high school and college, so
I used to watch it before my fights.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, and that's what the culture is, right? Like that is very true. And I put out there, you have to define it, right? Like, so that was your first one, and mine, what I said, to talk about this topic is you have to define it. And I think they're very similar there. Like, you gotta point at something and then do it. Right? Like, I don't, like, everyone talks about culture, the culture of the school, but can anybody put words to what a culture is unless you really try and make an aim at it and then do it?
I think yes, I would say, so not to disagree with you, but to give like a, I don't know if it's a counterfactual, but a counterpoint. There is a culture in everything, right? There's a culture in your household. There's a culture in every business you walk into. There's a culture with the staff. Like, if anybody ever worked in restaurants, I don't know about you, but I spent like 10 years of my life in restaurants, and that is a culture of partying. And
but they all have a similar culture. All restaurants are very similar. I worked in them too.
Especially the ones that I worked at.
Yeah.
Now, like, you know, the pizza places or not the fine dining, right? It's a culture of like kind of partying and drinking and all that. But if you go to the fine dining experience, the culture can be a little bit different because it's more professional. But there's a culture in everything we do, your school, your grouping of individuals. And that culture will it's like a petri dish. It'll just keep growing and growing to who knows what. If you don't, like, clicks will happen and new petri dishes will grow and it'll just keep expanding into stuff that you can't control, and it can spin out of control and create like really, I would say, less than healthy values, right? And so like culture exists no matter what in anything we do. But to have a good culture that's inclusive and also creates fucking badasses is fucking hard, and you have to be extremely intentional about it.
Yeah.
So you all have a culture at your school, but if you really look at it, what does it look like? How much gossiping is there? How much back-talking is there?
I think what I was trying to say is, and I agree with you 100%, a culture is going to build.
Yes.
Like, without a doubt, a culture is going to build. My point was, you have to define it, is if you want it to be a good one, you have to define it and then point at it.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's just very random, right?
100%.
It's just super, super random. The culture of, like, it wasn't even called Easton at the time. It was called Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Boulder.
Yeah.
Was we scrapped, right? Like, we scrapped in 1999, in 2000. Our intro class was picking a fight. Right? Like, no one had hair. No one had long hair. One, because Jay looked like he looked. And two, is we pulled it. Like, it was fine to pull someone's hair.
Yeah.
Training. And this was just part of the culture. Like, the dogs were everywhere. Rap music everywhere. And by proxy, like, what happened because of that is we didn't have many girls, one. Two, there wasn't that much money, right? Amal did okay, but, like, you know, he made a living. But in the beginning, he still had to work at a bar. Three, everyone came and left. There was a group of 30 of us, you know, that stayed. So but we weren't pointing at anything. It was, I don't know how intentional it was that we did all that. That's just how it had always been done.
It was a club.
Yeah, it was a club.
It
was a boys' club.
It was a boys' club.
Yeah.
You know, nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with it.
But it's not a business.
It's not a business.
And you can't survive off it. And
Right.
you can't create opportunity for others off of it.
Right.
You know?
There's not, so if you're looking at your school right now saying, yeah, that's what I do, cool. But you just can't want business things on the end. You can't want employees. You can't want money. You can't want freedom. You can't want...
And you should want that. Like, I would, unless you're loaded. But I feel like you want to be able to provide for your family, even if your family is just you.
Right.
You want to provide for that instructor that wants a new opportunity in a career. Maybe you don't. Maybe you do.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But you have to decide what your long-term goal is.
Right. And I think that's what I mean by you have to decide on that.
Yeah, no, I agree with that too.
And then point at it. Yeah. No, and I agree with your statement too.
Yeah.
A culture's going to build, you know?
Of
so
course.
How do you build a good one?
No, and I think this goes into, man, I love a lot of sayings. Even though being an English literature major, I love cliches because it really helps in the business world. The idea of how you do anything is how you do everything is very true for me. Like when my car is a mess, I'm like, oh, God, I got to pick this up because this is not who I am in my life. I need to organize this. Mm-hmm. And I really try to pay attention to everything that I do so I want everything to kind of reflect each other, because when you're doing all stuff kind of the same or intentionally living your life a certain way, it helps it's much easier to always embody that when you're living your life and at work. So I say that because you said something really important. Listen, man, I fucking love to curse. I love it. I'm from the East Coast. I fucking love Wu-Tang. Like, I fucking love rap music.
You said fuck 4 times. Right
yeah, you know, I get it, man. I love. There's some the Texas rappers right now that I love. I blast them in my car right when I'm driving into like my kid's parking lot. I'm like, oh shit, gotta turn this down, you know? And like I do, but, and this is going to kind of contradict how I do anything is how I do everything. But at the same time, I also know I try to recognize when things are appropriate and when they're not. And what I mean by that is like when you go into a school, right, and it's the primetime class, like a fundamentals class, and you're blasting Wu-Tang, right? Like, man, and then the kids' classes are ending, and all those curse words are coming up. Man, there's nothing wrong with that music. There really isn't. But what we're doing is already a pretty exclusive martial art. It's hard to get into like, yeah, I want to beat somebody up. And it's not just about that. It's much more than that. But that's what people see from the inside. And if they walk into that place of your school and you're blasting Wu-Tang with kids on the mat and parents there, and you have instructors training for MMA with their shirts off on the side, you know, like you're going to push a lot of people away. And maybe you're thinking, well, I want badasses in my gym. Well, man, we still have fucking badasses. But we recognize that we also want other people that need martial arts to be able to accept and do martial arts. And if we have that kind of setting when people walk in the doors, like people with their shirt off, sweating everywhere, cursing, hip hop, blasting, cursing, like obviously during off hours, we do all that shit, right? But during your prime time schedule, during kids' classes, 5:30 when you're having fundamentals, man, that is going to push a lot of people away. Because what we do is already scary. And they walk into that, they're like, ooh. And man, I'm fucking jacked. I'm a ripped dude. And I fucking would have walked into that and I would have been like, and I've been in fights my whole life. And I wrestled for years I still would have walked in been scared. Right? Imagine that fucking...
I thought you were saying if I had my shirt off and they walked in and saw me, you're saying, yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. I was like, yeah.
No, I'm saying like even like I can fit into that culture, I think, if I wanted to. But man, even I would be scared.
You'd be a little intimidated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And imagine just a parent with their kid or like you're putting out a message that says your personal like bias or like I want to feel this way or look tough, that sends other people away that will never try the martial art. And man, those people that don't come in can end up being your biggest fucking badasses because they're not sitting there with this ego. They're willing to get their ass kicked and learn and learn and learn and keep coming back.
And again, that's going to come down to the culture that you choose to establish.
I'm just trying to frame like a idea of how that whether it's not wrong can.
Because it's just, go ahead.
Push people away.
Yeah, because it's not like you're constant. Like it has to grow on its own a little too. You have to play like you can't try to force it either constantly. You can't be like the culture. It has to have this organic way. Like Denver's culture is a little bit different than Boulder's culture, is a little different than Arvada's culture, then is a little different than Longmont's culture, right? But they still, the overall feel of them is still Easton.
Yeah, we share the values.
Yes.
There's micro, like your 6 a.m. class, that vibe is very different than your noon or evening class. It's a whole micro ecosystem that exists at 6 a.m., which is okay, right? Maybe the more the eccentric people go there at that time. It's often the case. But they share the values.
And that's where I wanted to go next. They have shared values, right? The values are what's established.
Yes.
Right? The values that are very strictly defined, okay? And then from there, definitely for us with the 8 schools, a little culture here, a little culture there is different. Like Arvada is not going to be like Denver. Denver's more young professionals. Arvada's more family people, a little older, things like that, right? So you're not going to get the same culture.
You're not going to get the same demographics of individuals. Like, Castle Rock versus Boulder, we're talking our super conservative versus our ultra progressive, even though they don't realize they pretty much touch on the back end of the pendulum. But they think they're wildly different.
They have the same opinions. They have the same baseline opinions, but they are expressed vastly differently.
But Matt Bloss, our general manager of Boulder, and Derek Allenbaugh, our general manager of Matrix and owner there, they are aligned as far as values go.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like Derek is surrounded by individuals with like guns and, you know, that's just Castle Rock. It's like very conservative.
Derek has parents smoking cigarettes outside of the door that he has to ask.
Uber military, hardcore conservative, lots of money, right? Boulder, uber progressive, like anti-guns, not a lot of military, you know? And yet and they both are you're surrounded by something, you're going to change. You're going to start having different beliefs. But those two, I think, align on values like more than anyone else. I don't know why I'm getting emotional with that, but it makes me think about like how much it works, because they are surrounded by such different people, like such different cultures and demographics, yet they are so aligned as far as like how they see their values in the company.
Yeah, 100%. And it's super interesting.
Cut that shit up.
What got you?
I don't know, dude. I've been talking to Matt and Derek a lot yesterday, and I think I just like was thinking about them because they're like younger and I'm proud of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just hit me.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Guys, this is Mike. This is Mike. This is who Mike is. Yeah, it's an interesting thing when you can make that happen from two vastly different, let's say, major cultures in the towns of Boulder versus Castle Rock. But when you bring the people together, and you set values, similar cultures, different opinions maybe.
Yeah.
Similar cultures will arise.
Totally.
You know? And that's what I think is really cool when you make an effort at setting the culture. And I think that's really kind of what we're both saying here is you've got to think about this. Like, what do you want it to be? And I think like you said, Mike, if you're rich and you're just going to run a boys club, there is no problem with that. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Like I don't see anything wrong with it. Like that's just what you want for your jiu-jitsu, you and 30 guys, man, go have at it.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it. But you can't expect that boys club to turn into a business. You can't all of a sudden be like, hey, I need to start turning profit and run it with a culture like this. You can't be like, hey, all of my instructors and my good male students are going to sleep with all my female students and
turn a blind eye.
And turn a blind eye, right? Let's talk about that piece in culture for a sec. Because I think this is a big one. Because this is part of jiu-jitsu culture a little bit. Like it happens. It has always happened, right? This instructor-female relationship. It's not, in my opinion, this is how I see it. Tell me if you see it differently. Because it happens in all companies. It's not just jiu-jitsu.
Oh,
right?
Yeah,
it happens
workplace.
everywhere. Every workplace there is. Every place there is, this happens. It's not that it happens. It's what you do as the business in the next step. It's after it happens. How do you, as the business, handle it? What happens next? Not that said instructor A slept with said female student B. That shit happens in every business. Oh, you're pulling up something.
Yeah, I want to reference something here because I think it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, man, we all know, like, in jiu-jitsu or whatever, you start really caring about people, and it's really easy to kind of, like, brush things under the rug or turn a blind eye and appease everybody, right? There is this, and we've been doing the opposite of this for a long time. When we find out something that bad has happened, you know, as soon as we find that out, we investigate heavily, and if we get our HR involved most of the time, and if we have to go deeper than that, we get an attorney involved. As soon as we investigate, we do exactly what we're supposed to do, and whether it's removing somebody, whether we want to find out all that we have to become detectives and attorneys all at the same time as jiu-jitsu fucking owners. That is not easy to do. That's not my job.
No.
But it is my job. There is no fucking line that says when you're a business owner, that's not my job. That's not my job doesn't fucking exist. You can say I suck at this. It doesn't mean you can't do it. Just like your finances. You have to understand your finances if you're going to run a business. So, anyway, I love...
Podcast coming.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of General Admiral McRaven. He ran like the Navy SEALs for like 20-something years. He's written a bunch of awesome books. He wrote like Make Your Bed, Sea Stories, Wisdom of a Bullfrog. But he just had his new book released called, what was it called? Conquering Crisis. I listened to all his books the second they released, and I listened to them like a day because it's just great stories. And he's the man. He's just a funny, humble guy. Anyway, he talks about this new one. There's like 10 lessons about how to handle a crisis. And he talked in one chapter about how he quotes a bunch of famous people saying this, but like you can never sweep something under the rug. Like when you do that, the darkness, the things you're hiding will always find a way out. Everything you're trying to hide and lie about or whatever, you think it's going to be better, safer there. Eventually it'll come out and you will look less you will look less than. So like, there's a bunch of issues in the presidency, in different presidencies, where like presidents try to sweep things under the rug over and over again, and it ended their career because they lied about it. Like and because of that, like it ruined their credibility. Where if you fuck up and you immediately come forward or like you own it, people respect that way more than trying to lie and hide it. And I think that's really important in all of this. Like, we can't push shit under the rug. We're not going to announce and bury somebody's name through the mud either, because that's not the way to do it. We're not.
Yeah, let's be clear.
Yeah.
We've had our issues.
Yes.
As everyone has. We don't destroy.
No, because we're not attorneys.
Person.
It hasn't gone to court.
Yeah, we don't destroy either person.
If it went to court, if there's an issue, like if they want to press charges, we're like, man, press charges if you want to go further than this. And then at that point, that's on them. But we do everything in our power to make sure our community is safe when we find out something has happened, and remove the necessary parties. And we also allow them to go. We're not allowed, like, hey, man, if you want to press charges, please do. And nobody ever wants to press charges. I'm like, well, okay, but this is what we can do, and this person looks like they have to go, and we're going to kick them out.
We're going to kick them out.
I think the other important piece of, obviously, you have to have values. If somebody breaks a value, you have to remove them. You know what I mean? Like, there's not really much coming back from that.
No.
But obviously, there's nuance in all of this, so please bear with me. But something else that happens when you set your values, like for us, we always talk about them in every podcast, right? Excellence, trust, compassion, stewardship, adaptability. You have to believe in those values, right? And if you decide to ignore those values, nobody will respect them. It's like when you fucking correct your kids sometimes and let them do whatever the fuck they want other times, or if they're going to stop respecting you because you're not holding the line. You know what I mean? Or you're favoring one employee versus another. We all make these mistakes, don't get me wrong. But over time, it will lose the trust. And so people won't believe in your values or follow your values if you're fucking ignoring them as the leader. So we can go into that in a minute. But one thing that always comes to mind, and we dealt with this a lot, when we set our values, right? Like, we believe in after-class speeches. Amal's always had us bow on and off the mat to pay reverence for the space we're going to train. It takes us from like this outside world to like, hey, now we're doing martial arts. We need to respect it. We don't want this boys club where we're going to beat each other up all the time. It's fun, but you can have just as much fun by being respectful, right? The other way is being immature. This is the mature way to treat martial arts.
You can still beat each other up.
Yeah, but you're just not a fucking asshole.
Yeah, it's a difference. Yeah, it's a difference. Yeah,
remove the asshole part.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the thing is the boys club is just easier.
Yeah, you
let people be assholes. Right? Yeah. You allow assholedom. What actually happens on the mat, like the training, isn't really that different.
No.
It shouldn't be. Bo and I went to war last night.
Yeah.
You know, we went fucking hard. We, from the feet, wrestling, everything. You know, and look, part of the culture, for sure, like in Denver a little bit, at all the schools, but a lot in Denver, is that people respect the higher belts and get out of the fucking way. You know, when we're training. That's part of the culture. That still happened. Bo, they got out of mine and Bo's way. We're both black belts. Like that you can still have that happen. Now, does it happen every night that Bo and I are going to war all over the fucking mat? No. Right? We don't do that. But last night, that was going down a little bit and people moved.
Yeah.
That is okay. You still scrap.
Yeah,
you know, and so, but people think like, and I was just using that as an example, is everyone's like, oh, there's, you know, when you do this, you lose the what happens on the actual mat in the training between tough people can still go down.
Yeah, and I think like Bo's a great example. Bo's a fucking monster, right? He is probably one of the toughest people we've ever had come through Easton. He's just an animal, and he's Serbian. You know, he's just an animal.
Yeah,
you know? And going through this, Bo is not an eye roller. So like, Bo is tough as nails, and he can give a great respectful after class speech and like about like, you know, I'm not saying he's a guru, but we talk about things to help like shape our culture, like how to treat people, you know, even personal hygiene, things that we want people doing in our academy and outside. But what happens is when you have like a higher belt or somebody that people like or respect, and they're eye rolling through the speech, or they don't give the speeches when they teach, those individuals will fucking destroy your culture.
Yeah.
They will go counter everything you're trying to do, and they will pull a group of impressionable people along with them. So those people, this is a big part of this, have to be developed or removed. And there's no other option. And you try to develop them, because usually they're people you really care about. But you develop them, you pour into them, you meet with them, you talk about what they're doing, how it's affecting the culture negatively. You talk about all this stuff with them and give them ways to improve. And if they won't do that, they can no longer teach, right? And if they're still poo-pooing shit and they're still they're not even teaching and they're still being a pain in the ass and taking people with them, then they have to go. Like that one good person, even if they're good at jiu-jitsu, will ruin fucking 30, 40, 50 people and completely counteract your culture.
And I think what we're talking about here, you have, when we outlined the podcast earlier, you have make hard decisions, and I have hold the standard. You've got to do that. It's hard to do these things. It's hard to make these hard decisions. It's hard to hold the standard and make hard decisions. Same thing, right? It's not easy all the time. It's way easier to sweep it under the rug. In the moment,
of course,
it's way easier.
You're annoyed at the moment, and then you go to bed, you think about it, you fall asleep, you wake up, you move on.
Yeah. It's way easier to be like, oh, that's just, and Bo doesn't do this. I'm just using Bo.
Bo's great.
Yeah,
at it.
Bo's
That's
great.
Like he's the biggest badass,
yeah.
and he embodies the culture. So you don't have to be.
I'm going to use Bo as the example, though. Still on the other side, it'd be easy just to let Bo roll the eyes and not make the after-class speeches and do all the shit that would ruin the culture.
Yeah, because he brings so much to the room.
Because he brings a lot to the academy. But you have to. I think what we're saying here as we wrap up is you have to get your best guys on board, because your best guys are going to set it. Like there's no way outside of it. Like the top guys are the ones who really bleed the culture down. Like the new white belts don't do it.
No.
The new blue belts don't, like the newer blue belts don't do it. It's, if you have a school where there's a lot of black belts, they are going to be the ones pushing the culture down.
You call them your ambassadors.
Your ambassadors.
So they don't have to be teachers.
Right.
They're people look to as leaders.
Yes.
If they're not, when we go to a new school or open a new school or whatever, or like when we purchased a school, you have to find the ambassadors. And they're not always the teachers. Mm-hmm. And those are the ones you have to get on board.
So, all right. Good show. Good podcast. Mike cried for you all. You got to see it.
Be vulnerable.
Yeah. Hey, guys. Also, if you need help with any of this, curriculum, culture, sales, we're here for you. Whether you are a newer school or a struggling school with under 100 members, or you are a little more established, but you still need some help, hit us up at Easton.Online, at Fire Marshal 205. You can always hit up Mike Phipps, who's our director of marketing. He is behind the cameras. So hit us up if you need some help. You can just go to the website, Easton.Online. Don't put .com, Easton.Online, and we're there for you. So that's it. We appreciate you. Talk to you soon.